Chris Hewitt once. I wrote a story that I put my heart and soul into, and I was really proud of what I've done. And then I gave it to Chris and asked him to take a read. And he just started screaming. He said, "Where's the f***ing monorail, bitch? Where's the f***ing monorail?" I didn't know what to do. He literally threw me words back in my face. And it was on an iPad as well, so it really fucking hurts.
Oh, sorry, that was for a different video.
Greetings, folks. Welcome to another edition of After Hours. Today, I'm joined by somebody who I've been in an absolute ton of books with at this point. I had a brief look at earlier. I think it's 8 so far, but that's only the ones that have been released yet. All the way from sunny Kent, Mr. Chris Hewitt. How are you doing, sir?
Good. Ready to go. Is it only 8? Seems like a lot more.
They've been released.
Oh, right.
They've actually been released.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So it means there's at least another dozen.
Yeah, probably. I think so. I think so. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we do share a table of contents a lot. There's a group of us that do, isn't there? There's me, you, David Green, and Callum.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're in everything.
And then about half a dozen other Chris's.
Oh yeah. I noticed that when I was doing the when I do like the launch parties and stuff, and I have to do the graphics. It goes. Right. It usually goes Tim Mendes, David Green, Chris.
Keeps it easy.
yeah. You'd think, but yesterday when I was trying to do that, not yesterday, the day before, I was trying to do the graphic for the thing we're doing, the launch party for that Lost Lore and Legends. I was trying to do the graphic for that, and I completely forgot the alphabet, and I kept putting all the Chris's in the wrong order. And then going back and swapping them and going, no, it was right the first time, you idiot. So, I had a complete brain fail. Yeah. Yes. Good. So, I see your T-shirt there. Do you want to stand up and
oh, yeah.
Go it off?
It's going to be a Erie River.
Yeah. Erie River-tastic. Yeah,
actually, I saw the sticker earlier.
Yeah, I think it's quite shameful, all this product placement.
It's terrible. I mean, it's just shocking. This stuff, you know. I tell you, I got.
Oh God.
Yeah.
None of this was really planned, by the way. This is what happened. Like when we did the 0 hour thing, we both turned up wearing 0 hour T-shirts, didn't we?
Well, that was a T-shirt to have, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, I think we're both merch cool monsters. I think.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's really what's keeping this industry going.
Well, us two putting all our royalties in merch.
Yeah. Royalties.
Oh yeah,
merch tokens.
Merch tokens, yeah. Merch and beer tokens.
Yeah.
Cheers, publishers.
Yeah, cheers.
Only a bloody Pepsi Max. I don't know how you drink that stuff. It's bloody sickly.
It is really sickly.
Yeah.
But you know.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if I wanted to drink that stuff, I'd have to go with the 0, because I'm type 2 diabetic. So it was just easier just to say, no, I'm just not going to drink any of that crap anymore, because I tried Coke Zero once and it was bloody horrible.
Well, the thing is, I used to drink Diet Coke for many years, which is it's exactly the same, except it's not sweet. This is very much sweeter.
It is.
But I think once your taste buds have changed towards it, Diet Coke actually tastes like almost sour to me at this point. It's very bizarre. But
used to like
both of them are terrible for type 2 diabetes. I don't care what anyone says.
Well, exactly. Yeah, that's it. It's 0 or nothing. It's like that's the one thing I like. Sprite 0 is awesome, right? Because it's basically like Sprite but not as sweet. So it's more like actual lemonade.
Right.
It's like actual lemonade, but it's available in the corner shop. So
the R White stuff, you mean?
Oh yeah.
Talking about, there's only about 2 or 3 people are going to get that reference, but there you go.
R White's lemonade, man. I used to love that stuff. Yeah,
That's probably what made you type 2 diabetes.
probably.
Diabetic.
Yeah, that and iron brew every time I go up and visit family in Scotland. It's just-
made from girders.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And if you ever tasted it, you'd be in no doubt.
No, exactly. Like rust in a can. Radioactive rust.
I've heard it's what David Green uses to top up his beard. Gets a couple of
Top of his
cans,
beard, I love it.
dip it in.
Dip it in. Yeah, yeah.
Although
yeah.
he's
Get
obviously
rid of those
missing
grey hairs.
yeah, he's missing. It's ever since this whole Brexit situation, he can't get the stuff from Scotland.
Yeah. Well, I noticed that because yeah, it suddenly appeared, didn't it? And it's because
Yeah, yeah.
Amazon are pissing him around.
That's right. He can't get
His
the real
author
good-
copies.
can't get the real iron brew.
Yeah. He either has to get them through America or through some like random, like a safe house or something. It's like a pseudo address. And
Yeah,
then-
yeah.
It's all bonkers, really.
It's just mad.
It was all really bonkers because let's face it, like Northern Ireland and Ireland, it's separated by a street.
Yeah.
So it's like one side of the street can have deliveries from the UK, the other side can't.
Yeah. Literally over the fence with their iron brew.
Yeah. I could get iron brew delivered here. Bloody hell. No, yeah. I mean, that's the madness we live in. It's like you were saying earlier, weren't you, that this is like your anniversary.
Oh yeah. Lockdown anniversary, that is.
Yeah. That's what I meant. yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was,
So
I think, for a lot of people because it was 24th last year when
Yeah, it was.
they started doing it. And my partner's got a number of medical conditions, which mean basically you're not going to wait for the government to tell you what to do.
No, I'm the same because I'm saying I'm in the high risk group. So it was a case of like, right, that's it.
Yeah.
I've been out a couple of times shopping. That was about it. So, you know.
No, I mean, I'm quite lucky. I get out a couple of hours a day just walking the dog. So that's enough fresh air for me.
I'm
That's
quite lucky because
more fresh air than I've ever had before.
Yeah. Well, I'm lucky because there's a whopping great park around the corner. So if I
Right.
go at like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning when there's no bugger about. I mean, I don't like people
only dog
anyway.
walkers.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like people anyway. Like I go out of my way to avoid people just on general principle. So,
You've been waiting for the lockdown.
yeah. I mean, it means I don't have to like barge through crowds in supermarkets. It's just like I suffer with really bad trolley rage.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think that's why I stopped going to supermarkets. I can handle supermarkets if I'm going in and I know what the plan is. I need to know what the plan is before we go in. Execute the plan, SAS style.
That's what I do.
Rolling past the till.
That's what always fucks me up when you go in a supermarket and they've moved everything around because I plan it. Right, I'll go in, I go that way, I go that, and I get that, and then I go down there and I get that, and I get that, and then I get fuck off out the shop. So when they move things and you have to wander about, it's like anxiety.
I'm gonna say it. If there's one-way system all of a sudden.
Oh God Almighty, that drove me mad.
I haven't been in one.
Because
We just all the food we've had delivered. Thank God. Thank you, Tesco's.
Yeah, I mean, I've been
gods.
getting Waitrose because there's a bloody big Waitrose around the corner. So yeah, I've been doing that, and I've been using Deliveroo to go and get my beer from the off license. Yes.
Is that why they can now? They're floating on the stock exchange. I heard yesterday. So, is that how they can do that so quickly? Because they were 3 years away from that the last time I checked.
It's me and all the other pissheads that go, I'm a lockdown. I need some beer. Go and get me a four-pack.
They had a 3-year plan, and all of a sudden they're on the stock exchange this year. Okay.
Yeah. It must be the lockdown. It must be because it's not. It can't be that many people getting a takeaway McDonald's. Let's be honest. So, although I don't know.
I think that's the thing I've missed the most is I think how many takeaways did we have last year? 1, maybe 2. And it was a proper curry, and it killed me.
Yeah, we only
I
we
realised my tolerance for fast food had gone straight out the window.
can't handle that monosodium glutamate anymore.
No, exactly. I used to be able to digest that.
Yeah.
Not anymore. Not
That
anymore.
bright red food colouring they put in it.
That's
No,
the one.
we didn't have. I don't think. I mean, we had them before, but since lockdown, we haven't had a single one. To be honest, it's only when I'm feeling it. We only really ever have takeaways when I'm either A, far too drunk to cook, or B, when I'm being lazy.
Losing the old fingers again.
Yeah. This is it. It's like, I'm a chef, so I've got no excuse really.
There are no excuses. Although you say that, my father was a chef. He was a chef in the Blues and Royals.
Oh,
And his big thing was he'd cooked for the Queen.
nice.
As well as regularly cooking for 5,000 troops. And everyone goes,
Fucking
"Oh,
hell.
your dad was a chef. He cooked for the Queen. Brilliant. You must have been having fantastic food at home." No, because when he got home,
Didn't want to cook.
didn't
was
want to
the same.
cook.
I was the same. I
The
know
thing is,
every chef
he'd come
I
in
know-
all his whites. He'd come in all his whites, and you could smell the food on him.
No, seriously, it's like every chef I know. I mean, it's only since I stopped working in kitchens that I've really cooked properly at home.
Yeah.
Before that, I was beans on toast. It's like the thing is, you're standing there, you're sweating your knackers off in a kitchen for like 14 hours. The last thing
The
you want
last
to do
thing
when
you
you
wanna
get
do-
home is fucking cook.
Yeah.
It's like, have a doner kebab and a beer. It's like seriously, it's like every chef I know has a fridge full of condiments, and just buys like bags of chips and puts them on it.
I thought you were going to say the microwave meal. Just
Oh God, no! I don't
Cook all
have a microwave.
cook all the
I-
steaks and everything else for 14 hours, and then come home microwave meal.
Yeah, a lot of them do.
Yeah.
Although pot noodles is my vice. That was always my vice. It was like when you're on split shifts, or it's like you ain't got time to cook yourself a proper meal, like when
you're having the pot noodle.
for your lunch or that. So there's me, sitting in my chef whites eating a pot noodle out the back door with fag in one hand and a pot noodle in the other. It's just like, not the greatest
gotta be a
advertisement for the
I was going to say,
restaurant.
great advertisement for the place. You walk past and see the chef out there eating a pot noodle rather than his own food.
Yeah. It's just like,
Right.
I've got 5 fucking minutes. Yeah. Oh God.
So it's not true that you just steal it off everyone else's plate while you're doing it. Oh, that looks nice. Yeah.
Oh, grazing. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the
I
one.
wouldn't. That's why I could never be a chef.
No, it was always bloody chips, like
Oh.
or like roast potatoes were mine on a Sunday, because obviously you do them in big batches in the oven in the big trays, and then you use them on the thing. Like 2 on the plate, 1 for me in the gravy. I come out like 2 stone heavier every Sunday. It's like one of the guys I used to work with who was like constantly had a French fry in his hand. Constantly. Like every time he looked at the fucker, he had a French fry.
I'm assuming it's not the same one.
No.
They
this
just
is
had a
it.
French fry fancy.
That could be funny. Yeah, French fry fetish. Try saying that fast.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
French fry fetish. Yeah. Wouldn't surprise me, It's that thing, isn't it? You look on the Rule 37 or something? Look on the
Oh, well,
internet.
Is that the?
You can
if
find
there's
porn of anything on the internet.
anything? Yeah.
Yeah. To be fair, so far it's been right.
If you're going to provide a list, here, look, it's my research, and it just goes on.
It whiles away the wee hours, I tell you.
The thing is, you could probably win a Nobel Prize or something if you could prove it false. Come up
To
with
be
a
fair,
proof.
it wouldn't surprise me. No, it wouldn't surprise me. People get prizes for all kinds of shit these days, don't they?
Everyone gets prizes. Everybody gets prizes for everything.
Yeah.
Ah,
Like you had a run there for a while. Every time we did a book giveaway, you won. You won, I think. No, it wasn't you. It was Holtman, wasn't it? It was
no,
Chris
it wasn't
Holtman.
me.
No, it wasn't
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
No, it was Chris.
See, again,
And
this is the
much better
Chris's.
going to exactly. Much better going to Holtzman. He's got somewhere to put them.
Oh yeah. That was a cool moment.
That was, yeah.
Yeah, for the people at home, Christopher Mary Holtman, a fellow writer, he's got he works at a school, and he has power with the library, so he manages it. So he's actually got some books that we're in a school in Sweden. So that's really, really cool. It was the Erie River ones, wasn't it? Because like I said, we're members of the prestigious 4 Club.
I was going to say, it's worth pointing out, it wasn't a primary school. So
Yeah,
he wasn't
yeah.
delivering horror novels or horror anthologies into a primary school.
Although you say that, one of my stories in It Calls to the Forest, I first Rouse Them Not, the one with the killer trees. I first submitted that to a children's horror anthology and got a very polite letter back saying, "You can't write for children."
Stop. Like a telegram.
Just
stop.
Just forget it, Tim. Just forget it.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a cool moment because he first zoomed in and there's that what was it, Ancient Ones, the Drabbly one.
I think the Drabble
And
one.
then he zoomed up and there was, because we're both in It Calls from the Forest, but he's in volume 2, I'm in volume 1. So he panned up on this video and there's volume 2 and I'm like, oh. And he went round the other side. I was like, yes. He was round the other side, you know. Yeah. Aside from
that was
being
definitely high point.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it's just very cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just to be able to say I'm in a
To the library.
in
One
Sweden.
library. One.
Well, it's one more than
Sweden.
a lot of people, mate. Think about it.
That's true. True.
It's one more than you were before. Yeah. How long have you actually been doing it, writing?
So not that long.
No.
So Forgotten Ones was the first Drabble I ever wrote. Before that, I got a website blog, and I was blogging on there. And I blogged a couple of things about running and Archer, my dog. It features a lot on it.
Is that why you used to be called Archer Muse?
Yeah. Because I hate Facebook with a quite a passion, quite honestly. So for a long time, I only needed it for Archer to organise his trips out with all of his golden retriever mates. So that's why he had the profile, and I didn't have one because I didn't really want a profile. And then I started writing more and more, and then it became obvious that I was doing a lot of hashtag writing community on Twitter, but it's not quite the same and as interactive as the writing groups on Facebook. So in the end, I think David kind of encouraged me to go and actually create a profile under one of my many real identities.
You're another one of these.
Well, David's convinced I got about a dozen. Maybe he's right. Maybe.
Maybe you're a figment of David Green's imagination.
Maybe I'm a figment of Archer's imagination.
Oh yeah. Well, I thought that was a pseudonym or something, but it's a bloody dog.
Yeah, it's just because all I was using it for was organising him to go to these meet-up groups with the other golden retrievers. So it had his profile and everything on it. In fact, I'm surprised Facebook didn't shut it down. They probably will now. But yeah, so the website just had that, and I've been blogging, and then there was a writing prompt, and this is what 2018, something like that. And it just popped up on WordPress because WordPress has got its own little network thing, and it just popped up on that from a guy from Northern Ireland, Stephen Black. From Northern Ireland, who's a very good writer and a great guy.
I don't think I know of him. No.
No, I imagine probably wouldn't. It's more kind of fantasy.
Right.
But
my partner's probably heard of him then.
Yeah, possibly. He did a writing prompt for a couple of weeks, and I just, for some reason, it caught. I'll tell you why. It was, here's my till receipt from going to Tesco's. Write a story about that. And it was, what was it? It was a Foxy glass of mints and a case of Diet Coke. That was it. That was his till receipt. That was the writing prompt. And for some reason, over all the other writing prompts I've seen and ignored, that one I did. So I ended up writing like a sci-fi space invader-y type alien invasion story involving
Fox's
glacier mints.
Mints.
Oh yeah. The catch was the you could tell if the aliens were aliens if you gave them an ice cube and it messed with them. Glacier mints. See where? Yeah, exactly. Anyway,
that's a bit like the premise of They Live, isn't it? The Rowdy Roddy Piper film with the glasses.
yeah, exactly. So this one, it was the Glacier Mint. Yeah, I wrote that. That was the first story I'd written probably since school, a very, very long time ago.
Nice.
And after that, I did a number of them. I noticed there were quite a few of those on the WordPress sites. So I did a lot of writing prompts for about a year. Then did a few of the competition-y type things, the writing competitions where you get given writing prompts and you've got 24 hours to. So I did. There's a NYC Midnight one is a big one. They're paid to play sort of thing, but you
that
you get
always vetoes me because I'm skint. Like,
well, I had a crack at one of those. I actually really enjoyed it because you get a lot of feedback in the forums, and then you get like professional critics to come back and basically explain why and then they score them. Everybody gets scored. You go through to the next round. And I did the first one of those, and amazingly made it through the first round, and thought, bloody hell, that's surprising. Did I make it to the second, third? Anyway, did far better than I expected to do. No chance of winning it. I saw the winning one. It was, God, yeah, even now a different category. So I did a few of those, and then how did I end up? And then literally, what was it? I was going to say Lost Ones. What was that? Forgotten Ones.
Forgotten Ones. Yeah.
That was the first Drabble I ever got accepted, and then Calls to the Forest 2 was the first. No, I like the second story I got accepted.
Because Forest Volume 1 was both. I said 2 and that. Both of those were very early on in mine. I got my first acceptance sort of tail end of 2009.
Right.
2019. I was going to say. It took me a long bloody time to get.
Yeah.
No. Because I started at like January or something, 2019, and I wrote a novel. Still needs fixing.
So about the same time. Yeah, about the same time. I had one story before that, which went to a local publisher that only came out last month. Eventually,
I've had a few of them. those.
Yeah, well, I understand. Yeah, I know the guy quite well, and I understand some of the challenges he's had, particularly over the COVID period. So,
Oh God, yeah. I mean, the whole pandemic thing is just completely screwed everything. Like things you wouldn't expect it to screw up, it's screwed up. It's just
yeah. Well, it's this idea that you've got a lot of time to go and start writing now. Yeah. Not when you're on the Zoom quizzes, you can't.
Yeah, this is it. It's like I've managed to procrastinate myself into a corner with all these videos and things. It's just like, oh, you must have so much time to write. No, I don't. I'm arsing around bloody doing videos and making graphics and
yeah. Well, that's it. There's very little about the actual writing, as far as I can see. So pretty much the same as you, 2019.
I know David's about the same as well, and Callum. I mean, it's like we all kind of started around that same sort of time. There's a whole bunch of people started around that time. It's like all of a sudden.
I wonder why.
I don't know.
Coincidence.
Yeah, just some weird coincidences. Like all of a sudden, like indie authors were springing up like mushrooms all everywhere. Yeah.
That was good fun. No, I've been enjoying the I was used to writing prompts anyway, so you're kind of already into that mindset, sort of writing for a particular prompt, and now there just seems to be so many of them. I mean, I don't know if it's a seasonal thing because I haven't been obviously doing it long enough to know whether there are points when there aren't more stories than you could possibly write to.
I don't know. It's just It's like it seems to come in waves for me. Well, because I don't tend to do. I mean, I've never done the sort of the Twitter. I don't even know what the Twitter thing is, and I've never done Reddit or anything like that. I didn't even know what no sleep was until Natalie Brown told me what it was a while ago.
So my no sleep story. So I used to do Reddit. Coming from an IT background, it was almost a prerequisite to do Reddit and shun Twitter and Facebook, because that's where all the sheep were, all the real nerds were on Reddit,
Uber nerds.
or 4chan, 4chan if you were a little bit darker. And
4chan, isn't that where all them fruitcakes who believe in QAnon came from?
It's like the wild, wild west out there.
Oh God!
So
again, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I can't remember. So I was using Reddit a lot, and then I literally stumbled on No Sleep.
Yeah.
No concept of what it is at all. Started reading this story that was told as a diary of this guy explaining how his wife was sort of being possessed increasingly, day after day after day after day after day. I'm reading it thinking it's fact. Never realized it was fiction. I mean, if you want to know how to write a scary story, write one where you think it's real.
Yeah. Nobody would ever make that mistake with any of mine.
But the guy who'd written it wasn't just outright horror, gore and everything going on. It was very subtle psychological horror, but told in that kind of it's like he'd just gone to the internet and written it as a post about what had happened that day, and then the next day and the next day, and then people, and this is the bit that I didn't really get, people were then replying on the No Sleep, not saying great story mate, but going, oh yeah, that happened to my wife as well, and then doing their own their own fiction off of it, which just added more credibility to this post I'm reading.
Dude, you need a priest.
Yeah, exactly. So my experience of No Sleep was terrifying. And then I think even then it took me about 6 months before it cropped up somewhere else, and I discovered that it was actually fiction, because I just never went back and read it again because it was stopping me sleeping at night.
Yeah, because there's all this stuff that goes on, and people are like I've been in conversations with authors before, and I feel like a right tit, because they're all like, I feel like I've been left out the group. If I've been a kid again and not picked for sports, you know what I mean? They're all there going, oh yeah, I was at No Sleep, yeah, and I was they're talking about hashtags and this, that, and the other, and I'm just sitting there going, the what? No sleep. Yeah, I'm insomniac at the time. I get insomniac. Back in your corner, you daft northerner.
Well, the thing is, I can be so gullible sometimes as well. Because you're reading it and you kind of think, part of you wants to think it's real.
Yeah. It's like when you watch these documentaries, really serious documentaries about. They seem like serious documentaries, but they're about fictional things. It's like, do you remember before the Blair Witch Project, there was a film called The Last Broadcast?
Oh, I don't remember that
one. And it was done as a documentary, and it was about a group of people who went into the woods in Jersey to look for the Jersey Devil.
Right.
And it very obviously inspired Blair Witch, but it was actually done as a documentary as opposed to just the found footage. And it was done very, very well. Very well. And it was an awesome thing. And then when they brought out the Blair Witch, I enjoyed it, all right. But what I preferred was the documentary they made to go with it.
All right, I don't think I saw that either.
Yeah, where they went to and interviewed the locals about the disappearing kids and all that, and they did it. It was part of the marketing campaign. They did it. They basically marketed it as if it was real.
Yes.
And I actually
so I remember that was the big buzz
the actual film. Yeah.
Right. So were the locals in on it, or were they just like?
Oh yeah. I think obviously.
I don't know. I can imagine you could go to
or something.
I imagine there are a lot of towns you could go to and go, oh, that guy who died, yeah. Oh, that, yeah. And they'll start going, oh yeah. He went into the woods.
Oh, definitely. It's It's like when you go to pubs in little British, little English towns. It's like I have family in Shropshire, Bridge North. It's like there's a thing I remember to this day. And I got in there. I've gone down on my motorbike, and I parked it up. And I was staying at a campsite, and I was getting hammered by the River Severn. And I'm sitting in this pub, and there's a bunch of like tourists in, and there's this old fella at the bar spinning them. this bullshit. And they're eating it up with a spoon, man. He's like, oh yeah, you go down by the river at night, you'll see her walking across the water. And they're like, oh really, where? And I expected, when I'm going back to the campsite, I half expected to see these people there with torches, like pointing it at the river.
But when my other half downloaded these the sort of ghost hunter type thing.
Oh god,
there was a new one. With a couple of Americans that have been doing it for a number of years. I don't really know who they are.
Yeah.
But they've turned up and they're doing it's called Lockdown Ghost Hunt or something. And they're during, I assume it was during lockdown, or the fact that they seem to go to prisons, old Victorian prisons, and they go around there and it's just like all of these things where something farts down the end of a corridor and they're all running down there. But now they've got all this kit. They've got all this amazing kit. They got lasers and
oh god, yeah.
And they got this box of tricks that what's it called? It's something like a bio box or something. And the details are a bit. Even the creator doesn't know how it quite works. He makes them, but I'm not sure how the principle about which were magnetic gravitational something or others. But they've connected whatever that is scanning thing is to a voice box with a load of phonetics on it. So now, anytime there's someone turns their car on 5 streets away, it creates an electrical blip, and this thing goes, what? And then they go, he said my name.
You all right? What is it, Derek? You all right?
Mary loves Dick. Mary loves Dick. Mary loves Dick. That's it.
No. Because I'm not against sex. Can we get that quite clear?
Yeah, well, that's what I wanted to get clear.
Yes, I'm all for sex, actually.
Just for a moment, her energy came in, and there's annoyance. A nice lady, but I feel as if she's got this great love for Dick.
Right.
For Dick.
Okay.
Great love. Covers him up. Covers him up.
Are they related, or are
Yes.
They're related.
Yes.
Right.
She covered him up.
The clue is how did this ghost know how to create these phonetics? It's got a bank of phonetics. So how did the ghost know which frequencies tied to which phonetics? Off the bat, just knew them straight off the bat.
Yeah, so basically so basically there's either no ghost or the ghost used to be a member of Kraftwerk.
Exactly. Actually, yeah, possibly a Kraftwerk ghost might have stood a chance of actually operating this thing. If you've used a Moog in your life, you stand a chance.
If you au fait with the Moog.
If you've mastered the Moog. But the thing that really winds me up about it is this box. This box. They could have had any voice. They could have had the Stephen Hawkins. They could have had the old speak and spells, whatever, but they haven't. They've toned it right down to bass, so it's proper reverb. So you're in this Victorian prison in the dark. Someone flips a switch 5 doors away, and this thing starts farting noises that echo already around you, and it's like, oh, okay.
It's like I've seen some videos where they have the spirit box, which is essentially a knackered radio, right?
Well, that's exactly what this is. This is the high-tech spirit boxes.
Oh, right. And they basically just twist it and basically you know yourself when you tune in a radio, when you'll occasionally get snippets of voice from those. Oh, it said yes. That means he wants to talk to me.
Yeah.
Okay, mate. Yeah.
Oh.
What I want is for what I've always wanted to happen is for them to be going through it and it to be like be a load of like and they tend to spell it out at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
Right. And I want it to come up. You are a bellend. by like balance of probability, it could happen. At some point, a spirit box is going to call somebody a bellend. And that's what I want to happen. I just think, because let's face it, if I was a ghost, I wouldn't be going around speaking portents and all the rest of it. I'd be going around going, meh, dickhead.
Yeah. Go on, wind him up.
Yeah. You are haunted by a penguin called Steve. You know.
But it's similar. These other programs where they go looking for the Yeti and they go looking for. If they found it, I wouldn't be sitting there watching a program. It'd be on the news.
Exactly.
If you found a Yeti, then that footage would be on the news that night. And here I am, 3 seasons in, and these guys are still running around in the woods.
Yeah, so true. Yeah, probably with the line, "Bunch of idiots killed by Yeti."
Yeah.
Because you're a fan of your cryptids, aren't you?
Yes, I do love a good cryptid.
Well, yeah.
And that project will resurface at some point when it's waiting on me.
Yeah, no, well,
to pull my finger
to be
out.
honest with you, mate, take as long as you like. I've got far too much shit to do at the minute.
I got the impression that no one was chasing me, so everyone was busy.
Oh God, I think I worked it out the other day that I'm basically screwed until the end of June. like screwed completely. How the hell I'm going to get it all done? I have no idea.
Stop now. Time out now. Go and knock a quick one out.
It's not snorting coffee or something.
Or something. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Something. You have to get on your Deliveroo.
Yeah. Send your Deliveroo round to the dodgy phone boxes on the seafront.
Yeah. Ask for Mike. Mike. His name's Mike. Just give him the money.
It's only a matter of time, isn't it? It's only a matter of time before somebody does something like that on Craigslist. Some enterprise.
Were they already doing it on Craigslist? I think they might have already.
Probably. I don't know.
Certainly in the States.
I've been on fucking Craigslist. It's just, all I know about Craigslist is that a lot of people get their willies out on it and serial killers use it to pick up victims. That's all I know about it. Oh, and you can buy furniture.
All right. Now that is brand recognition right there.
Oh, not this again.
Furniture willies and yeah.
The conspiracy theory. They're not stories. Yeah. Yeah, to fill in the viewer, a couple of people have said, well, like, because obviously the Nova's a chef, and so some of my things are obviously about chefs getting murdered and things like that. So these aren't stories, are they, Tim?
Memoir.
Yeah.
Book, volume 1.
Yeah, there you go. What do they call me? The Cthulhu killer.
Oh, yeah, don't even get that. Oh, look, it's already in his eyes. I can see it. Something's just triggered there. It's like, oh yeah, actually, yeah.
Death by tentacle. Oh God, there's a story in there somewhere, isn't there?
Oh,
there really is.
Yeah. In your case, there's probably a novel in there.
Probably, yeah. Then start off as a drabble. Yeah. Like I was saying, I mean, because we've worked together quite a lot now. We've worked together on a couple of projects and things like that. Because something I've always liked about your stuff is that it all fits together like clockwork. It's like your story you did for 0 Hour.
Mm.
How much planning did you put into that? Because I loved the way it fell together with the framing of it, video and the guys in the boardroom and all that kind of business.
So I think I've heard obviously other people talk about the Panzer, not Panzer.
Panzer.
Steady. Don't mention the war.
I'm a Panzer.
The Panzer versus plotters.
Yeah.
I think I do plot, but not to the point of writing it down, but in my head.
Yeah.
Because when I write, I think like probably half the writers, I see the stuff that I'm like a movie in your head.
Yeah, I do.
You're basically just translating that. So
yeah, I see it. And I hear the dialogue as well.
Yeah. So you get the scenes, and you know. So
what I sometimes do, put them together. Yeah.
Well, that's it. So so I think probably on that one and anything reasonably chunky, I'll have the scenes and then connect them together, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I guess it is plotted because I very rarely just sit there. I do with Drabbles. If you got to with Drabbles, just sit there and I actually did start something for.
Don't talk to me about fucking Drabbles.
I did start something for Death Ship earlier today, and I'm thinking, I don't want to write. It's a death ship. It's ship, death, horror, death ships, horror. I've seen it all. It's going to be 20,000 leagues, tentacles wrapped around the bloody thing. It's going to be pirates coming up on the deck. It's going to be, you know, you could just list them off. The Abyss. Let's go with the alien one. I don't know. Sperm whales attacking it. What? I think I've read them all. I did actually read a very good one of those for some other thing, and so but I've got a story that drives it all. I just don't know what the horror is yet. You know what I mean? So I started writing the first 1,000 words, sort of setting it all up, getting it all there, the big container, blah 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 blah. Still don't know what the horror is going to be because I'm determined that it's not going to be some big tentacle coming through the.
Now you see, I did this. They did that with C because here's me thinking everybody's going to do Cthulhu, so I did something different. Right?
Yeah.
I did seaweed. Murderous seaweed.
Well, I went. So I had the same thought because I thought everybody's going to do sharks and whatever.
It's either going to be Jaws or Cthulhu, isn't it?
Jaws or Cthulhu. And I went corals.
So basically, we did murderous sea flora.
Yeah, basic, but not the one you thought it would be. Not the one you thought it would be. Yeah,
that's brilliant. I like it.
I think that's the problem. I think because we're also both in a lot of let's say reading groups, shall we say?
Yes. Yeah.
With a lot of these calls, you know, you need something that's going to stand out, and just writing Jaws is not going to stand out. So you have to basically sit there and think, what have I never seen happen before that can terrify me? And seaweed scares the hell out of me. In fact, I've had more terror out of seaweed than any shark.
It's the way it gets between your toes, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's a toss-up between seaweed and a Tesco's carrier bag.
Oh, the jellyfish!
Jellyfish! It stung me.
Stop peeing on your own leg. That's a myth, by the way. Apparently.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, I heard that was a myth. Yeah.
It's obviously some joker fisherman somewhere along the line went, "Oh, I know what'll get rid of it."
I mean, thankfully, in the UK, you're not going to come into too many contact with too many proper dangerous jellyfish.
No. We get some crawfish down here, but they're all just like, you know.
Yeah. Bee stings.
Yeah, exactly.
If
you're allergic to them, then you're fucked. But if you're not, then you're fine. Yeah. Same wasps and whatever. Yeah. In fact, my friend, she got stung by a jellyfish over at Eastbourne Pier.
All right.
And she said it was like nettles.
Oh.
This one. It was like an intense nettle rash.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unlike
them
obviously Australia.
Portuguese man of war fuckers.
Is it the box one? The box jellyfish, I think, where one little finger that, and they've got. Oh no, leave it.
I always like the fact,
but yeah. trying to come up with horror that you haven't seen before, that doesn't read like Jaws and Cthulhu yet again.
Yeah, well, this is it when you've got these sort of specific calls, because like every man and his dog is going to do Jaws. It's like if you do a giant shark or a giant octopus, it's either got to be immensely good.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, I'm not that good. So if it was a level playing field and it was a Jaws story, I've seen dozens and dozens of better writers than I have who've mastered the English language down to a fine art, and they'll win every time.
I'm first one to admit it. I mean, I'm pulp and proud. I mean, when I started, I just wanted to write that proper pulp feeling horror that I used to read when I was a kid. That's my goal. It's like, I've got no pretensions of being like, up for awards or anything for being a really good writer. I just want to write like stories that people enjoy reading.
I think so.
That's,
or just something different. Anything, something different, something you haven't seen before, something that makes you think, oh, hang on. Yeah.
Well, I like turning the everyday murderous. It's like I'll pick something really random and innocuous and make it murderous. Right. It's like, the funny thing is, right, it's the times when I've thought that a story definitely isn't going to get accepted for something, they're the ones that always do.
Right.
Because I think that's so
you don't get
the mark. Because I think it's only vaguely near the fucking theme. They're not going to take it. And they're the ones that get taken. But I guess because they get so many ones that are on the nail.
Yeah.
That it's, because if you're putting together an anthology, you don't want like 15 stories about fucking sharks. You just don't, do you?
No.
Unless it was a shark anthology.
And even then.
Yeah. To be honest, I find sharks incredibly boring. It's like, as you would imagine, you find when you're allowed, you find me lurking in sea life centres a lot. I'm not talking about seeing one of the evil bastards
on the shark.
Yeah, no,
do something. Do something.
Yeah, exactly. They're just so fucking boring. They just swim about a bit. So I'm always in there with the crabs and the octopus and tentacles. Oh.
So I just got visions of the school trip going past, going, just ignore him.
Yeah.
Pressed up against the glass.
Don't make eye contact.
Yeah. He's talking to the lobsters.
I do actually. I do. Oh, you're a handsome fellow, aren't you?
Are they the ones that give you? Those are the ones that give you the names, are they?
You see somebody next to me shoveling away.
It won't hold up in court. The lobsters gave me the names.
Yeah. Lobster made
out
me
the
do
window.
It. Yeah. The lobster made me do it. Now that is a prompt for you. The lobster made me do it.
Made me do it. Yeah. Actually, you wrote something like that, didn't you? You wrote a crab one. I remember you.
Oh, I've read loads. I've read a few crustacean ones. I've written a novella about giant crabs. I've written a novelette that's in a kaiju anthology about a ginormous lobster. It's basically like, it was my British take on Godzilla, a giant lobster attacking a fucking a pleasure beach. I've done one about all the crabs and lobsters coming live in a walk-in fridge to get revenge on a chef.
Right.
Yeah, I've done loads about.
Yeah.
Crabs.
Probably time to lay off the crustaceans.
Crustaceans and cephalopods are kind of my thing. It's just like,
I just got visions in about 60 years' time of like, oh yeah, Mendes, like the new Lovecraft. All he did was crustaceans, but crustacean stuff was brilliant. This whole crustacean mythos. They all connect together. No, they never
do. They
don't.
Actually do. Oh yeah. All the crustacean stuff is all linked to my great old one, Jerigathy. Yeah. Parasite god, the scavenger.
His crabby genius was never known in his own time.
Yeah. Ridiculous memes and people knitting crabs. So I often wonder
In fact, can I get that
what,
T-shirt already?
yeah, I wonder what HPL would actually think about like the way it's gone. It's like, for
Yeah.
instance, I have a knitted Cthulhu. Somebody knitted me for my birthday a while ago. There's like Cthulhu knitting patterns. Did you say? Oh, no, you probably didn't because I posted it in a private group. It's a Pikachu Cthulhu. Cthulhu Chew. He chooses you. It's basically Pikachu with tentacles.
That's excellent.
I want one.
Yeah, obviously.
It's just brilliant.
Yeah, I doubt it was really on his roadmap. The merch
Yeah.
side of it.
Yeah. One day,
Maybe he
people
wouldn't
are
have
gonna
died
make-
poor and
yeah, penniless, basically.
penniless.
Yeah, penniless and alone. The one thing that
Ridiculous,
gave
isn't
him comfort on his deathbed is one day he's going to be on millions of memes.
Yeah.
I often think as though it's like, obviously, you know, there's like thousands of memes about Lovecraft. There's thousands of memes about Poe, and they're both dead, right? So they can't see people basically essentially making fun of their creations. I really wonder what Stephen King thinks about all the It memes.
You're
I mean,
right.
he wakes up
he's-
every morning because I bet like his son, you know, Joe Hill. I bet he's like, "Hey, Dad, meh." It's
Yeah.
Pennywise and Ronald McDonald. Have that, you fucker.
You have to wonder whether he wishes he was dead.
Yeah.
Not just that he didn't actually get to
Yeah.
run around to see all this marketing.
Yeah. Thing is, though,
Marketing and
I
memes.
always think that you know, Joe Hill must like. There's got to be some part of him that hates his father. Because let's face it, his birth name is Joe King.
Yeah.
You having a laugh, Stephen? At least I think it is. I don't know, but I know he's Joe Hill. Anyway, you know, there's the weird little things that occupy my brain every now and then. Just
Yeah.
sitting and, you know.
If it stops the crabs getting in there, that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Taking over the world.
I've done it again. Scuttle, my pretties. Yeah. To be fair, I can think of a lot of world leaders who need death by crustacean. I can, or at least a
Let's get a
damn
list.
good,
Have you got a
or
pen?
at least a damn good pinch in the nether regions. You know what I mean?
Set a few of them straight, I think. There you go. Set the world straight with crustaceans.
With crustaceans. Don't get mad. Send in the crabs.
There's a
That is
t-shirt right there, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
That is
so
right in
you-
business then.
Yeah, so, I mean, what are your big sort of inspirations? Because I know you're not just like me, a sort of one-trick pony who just writes about aquatic horrors. Yeah, I mean, you do a lot of more sci-fi stuff as well, don't you? It's like, 'cause I
Yeah,
mean,
so I don't know why I've ended up writing horror. If you ask, I'm not one of these people who really loves horror, and that's my genre, and that's you know, you can see I'm dressed in white, not black.
hey, I'm a goth. I've got an excuse.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know why. I think it's literally because there's more demand for it in the indie space, from what I've seen. So actually, one of the things I struggle with is a lot of my horror is more dark tales than horror. You know.
Yeah, a lot of mine's more weird tales than
Yeah.
horror. Yeah.
And to be fair, that I'm more comfortable with that in terms of, you know, what I enjoy to read. You know, when I was growing up, I read a lot of Roald Dahl, and I'm not talking about the kids' books.
Oh no, I know exactly what you mean. Even
My
the-
Uncle
even the
Oswald.
kids stuff, man.
And all
Even the kids stuff. Some of that is twisted as fuck.
it is. It's brilliant. Genius.
Yeah. It's like I remember getting like George's Marvelous Medicine as a kid. And, you know, the illustrations by Quentin Blake gave me
Right.
fucking nightmares. It's just like, What in the hell?
That's it. I was brought up on not books, but the books, because things like Michael Oswald and all those sort of things were made it into Tales of the Unexpected.
Yes. Yeah.
And that all of those
Yeah.
programs, that, and in fact, I ended up going for a very long period of everything's got a catch, everything's got a little trick
thing
in
at the
it,
end.
a little
Yeah.
thing in it, and it was all about the little thing, not necessarily about horror or gore or whatever.
I used to
Still-
love like Tales of the Unexpected. I used to watch a lot of the
Yeah.
American stuff, like the Outer Limits.
Yeah,
Obviously Twilight Zone and all that. And I love
Yeah.
the anthology films that you used to get, like your Tales from the Crypt and
yeah. So
what was that one with Tom Baker in it?
Tom Baker. Oh.
Tom
For a
Baker
second
and
now.
Peter Cushing.
Yeah. I can't remember. I do
I
remember
what it was called, but that was brilliant. I'm sure
that was just a collection of
somebody
like
at
little
home,
horror
if
stories.
you're listening to this and you know what it is, let us know.
Yeah, there's a prize.
Yeah. I'll send a
Crab.
crab round to your house.
It's not saying how small or how big.
Yeah. Or stick some killer seaweed through your letterbox. Yeah.
Oh, what was that called? But
Mm.
I mean, if I'm reading, then historically I've preferred science fiction, probably space operas, epics. So massive Frank Herbert fan. Dune is probably probably the most impressive thing I've read. But a lot of that, and then into fantasy didn't find so much. Then into Pratchett, way.
Of course. Yeah.
So funny.
It's also this is a thing all on its own, isn't it, Pratchett?
Well, that's
Yeah.
it. Then obviously you're into Douglas Adams, but also a lot of
yeah.
But there is a mixture of like James Herbert in there. In terms of some of his stuff. And in fact, I realised I've got a James Herbert book over here, and I had to move it because someone pointed out the other day it's got a swastika on it. It's an old copy of The Spear.
Oh right, yeah.
About the spear that did
the Spear of
Jesus,
Destiny, yeah.
The Spear of Destiny, but it's got a swastika on the side of it. It's just, oh no!
So, we'll turn that one around then.
Yeah. They're just like, let's not. Yeah, let's move that. Someone pointed out to me the other day.
There is a whole
"Is that
lot of them
swastika?"
old like 70s fantasy, 60s, 70s fantasy and science fiction that the covers are just decidedly dodgy.
Yeah.
Like because there's a second-hand bookshop here which it's on a market. It's like you go into it and there's like thousands and thousands of old sci-fi and fantasy things, and I go through it looking for cosmic horror, and it's like just looking at some of the covers and you're just like
No. There was one that
I
Chris
want to hide
posted.
that one, mate.
Did you see the one Chris Hopman posted the other day for adventures on as an idea for adventures, and it had it was one of those oldie style Africans with spears.
Oh, is it like
someone would post under it. That's not the cover, is it? It's like, no, hopefully not. I understand what you're after, but not.
Yeah, we get it. You can remove it now.
Oh dear.
Yeah, no, you get a lot of that. It's all the Rice Burroughs stuff and a lot of the Robert E. Howard stuff and Lee Sprague de Camp and all them guys, man. It's like you look at them and go, nope.
Yeah.
I am not walking to the counter with that.
So who else? Wyndham. So again, more science fiction. I'm a big fan of John Wyndham.
Yeah.
And not just the Triffids.
But I've got to say though, I love that. I fucking love that. Well, my novella, which is coming out down the line somewhere, Miracle Growth, is partly is basically my mashup of Lovecraft's Color Out of Space, Day of the Triffids, and Hot Fuzz.
Sounds like a winning combination right there.
Why?
I'm surprised you haven't done what's the other one he did? The Water Kraken Awakes, is it?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I loved cracking away. In
That's
fact,
great.
my sea entry, no, my sky entry for Erie River was inspired by the cracking
Well, I was
away.
going to say, because that's how I realized that you're more of a sci-fi guy with horror overtones, because that was like full-on fucking invasion kind of stuff.
Right, but
You followed that on in something that we can't talk about yet.
yeah,
Haven't you? Yeah.
yeah. I've done one of your things though. What was the limit?
You've done a Mendes, have you?
Yeah, I'm gonna get my.
It's like
Yeah.
it seems to be everybody who comes on this show. It's like a completely corrupted Gemma Paul as well. It's like she can't write short anymore. Everything she does turns into a novella.
The thing is, I've been working on that for all this year. I've been working on, and it's the longest piece I've written and finished. I have got 50,000 words of a science fiction novel that's never going to see the light of day.
And we've all got them hanging.
Yeah, exactly.
somewhere,
Yeah. That was my result of a NaNoWriMo the year before.
Yeah. Again, another thing I thought that was a computer virus. Honestly, I didn't know what the fuck it was. Somebody's saying, "How are you getting on with your NaNoWriMo?" And I'm like, what? I actually had to ask Lindsay Ellis Holloway, like, what the fuck is NaNoWriMo? It's like National Novel Writing Month. It's been around for like decades.
So I did it the year before, and I hit the target. And I even went. They one of the things they do is organise meetups. So I ended up going to the local Medway meetup of this, and meeting other writers. And I'd written pretty much nothing, and I was writing this sci-fi novel. But I turn up, and he round table, and there's a bunch of people. One of them's a local, well-known, local poet. One of them's an expert in history, published multiple times.
Nice.
And they're going around the store. What are you writing? Well, I'm writing this story on, Dickens' reimagining of his trip through, mashed up with Canterbury Tales. Brilliant, excellent. And what are you writing?
It's highbrow stuff.
I'm writing. Yeah, I'm writing this thriller. Brilliant. Okay, yeah, excellent. Okay, what are you writing, Chris? I'm writing about this woman who wants to be a vet, and then she goes on these biological warships into space and has this big power. And there's just like this silence around there. Okay. And how's that going?
It's that unspoken pat on the head, isn't it?
Yeah. I think I lost the audience.
I've done a similar thing. So what do you write? Well, I write things about like killer octopus and stuff. Like, oh, you get to see that.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Well, the poet guy, I think, had actually started working on his before he'd actually finished the description of mine. I think I lost him somewhere. So yeah, that didn't work out. It's a shame actually, because there are other groups which do more fantasy that I was hoping to get along to this year, but of course,
yeah.
So, but yeah, that was my NaNoWriMo. But I went along 4 times to turn up, and it's like, how's it going, Chris? Oh well,
I've just wrote this scene with a big space battle.
Yeah, it's got tentacles and everything.
Yeah. Bug-eyed monsters and fucking tripods.
Yeah. No, they're very supportive and very helpful, but somewhere between historical fiction and and the lives and times of Dickens wasn't going to cut it, I'm afraid. So yeah, that was my experience.
I'm gonna get some Pulp and Proud t-shirts made. You can have one, man. Turn up with it next time.
So yeah, I started in January on this thing we can't talk about.
Yeah.
Thinking, I'll get this done and dusted, and handed it in, I think, last week, which will be, for anyone who's, whenever this goes out, that would be almost the end of March.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
I got mine done quite early, and I actually came in under the limit for a change.
What?
Yeah, no.
Is that how it works? Is that what happens when you come under the limit, that everybody else goes over?
Somebody else goes over, yeah.
Yeah,
It must be.
It's some sort of yin-yang thing going on.
Yeah. The cosmic balance of the universe has been... been screwed up by me actually paying attention to a word
coming in
count.
short. So yeah, I'm waiting for the feedback on that to see how, because it's one of those ones where you've been at it so long that you're not sure if it's any good or not anymore, and you just kind of need to walk away, and then someone can have a look at it and go.
We've all been there, mate.
I did say to the publisher, just any scenes that aren't working, cut them.
Yeah,
cut them. I'll slice it all back together again. Just.
I think my comment was basically, if none of it makes sense, if none of it makes any sense at all, just poke me. And I got a reply with a whole bunch of questions. What are you talking about here? What are you on about? Well, this is all valuable stuff, man.
Yeah,
it's why I quite like the editing process, because it's stuff I suck at editing. I suck at editing. I go to try and edit a story and end up adding 2,000 words to it. That's what happens. And the more I play with it, the more convoluted it gets. Zero.
Yeah.
It's like that. Like you.
What?
You and your bloody monorails and your bloody amulet.
The monorails was a joke.
Oh,
the amulet.
I like the fact that he got him in. Yeah, no. People who haven't read
the monorail came off of that meme. There's a Simpsons meme where they do a whole song about a monorail around Springfield. That's where the monorail came from. Because there's actually a meme of them all singing monorail. That's where the monorail came
I've
from.
missed that.
It was purely for the fact there was a GIF with them all singing monorail. Yeah, it got worked in there.
Yeah, I think I was the only person who didn't get confused by the amulet. For those who don't know, well, basically when we were putting it all together, it was collaborative cyberpunk novel / anthology thing with lots of threads running through the stories. And he had this idea, which I just went, right, it's going to get from you to me. That's fine. I'll write my bit. Yeah. It's all good.
So mine was the first story, and
yes, you were all good. It was the people
then there was
in the
everybody
middle
else in between.
It was just like it was basically mine. I was just like, right, just find a way to get it to Rubes, and he will give it a croon. Done.
Yeah.
But it sort of went, right, we can have it going here, and then they can have it here, and maybe a penguin has it over here.
Yeah.
Well, it was me, what it spy penguins.
And all you could do is see David's colour going redder. Redder.
Yeah,
he's got a delivery date, and it's just like spiraling.
It's like, you realise we're supposed to be done by now.
Yeah. Final edits, guys. What's this?
Yeah. What are you talking about?
What are all these rewrites?
Well, we've got to keep him on his toes, haven't we?
Well, it was a collaborative project. We were collaborating.
Exactly. I personally loved that. That was one of my funnest times
I love
as
that.
a writer. I was being involved in that project because it was just bloody hilarious.
Yeah.
It was like every day there was some kind of comedy going on. And not like the comedy in one of the other things that I've been in. Not the comedy that makes you go, oh, fuck. The comedy that's like actually funny and good.
Yeah. No, it's great. I mean, in fact, I'd say it's probably one of my favorite experiences of writing. And I think it goes back to so my career has been software development, working with developers, where you'd walk into a room and you'd have to go and write a program, and you'd have to, I'm going to go and do this. What about you? And you'd all have to basically piece it all together by working and collaborating together. So I was kind of used to that mindset of just going in and
that was complete. That was the first time. It wasn't the first. The other one was finally done, but it was a nightmare. I was like in development hell, the writing equivalent of for over a year. But that one was like it was just like, this it just all clicked. And
yeah. I think the thing is, if you're going onto those collaborative projects, you've really got to turn up and leave your ego at the door and just by all means go in with an idea of what you need and what the story you want to tell, but be ready to kind of and I think what was nice about that one is there was a world, there was an environment.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was really lucky on the one I did, the Jack the Ripper Lovecraft one. I was really lucky on that everybody just, because I gave them the brief, just sort of went, right, do something with that. And everybody just ran with it. We're just like, oh, I can do this, and I can do that, and I can put this in it. And it just, I think it's all about getting the right people.
Yeah.
Really. And I think David did a smashing job on Zero.
Yeah, there needs to be a structure as well, and I think that's what David got nailed as well. He laid out a vision. He had a vision of what he wanted. And he vetted pretty much what everybody was writing to a specification basically that he'd signed off on. So there weren't too many surprises. I think that's why I felt the need to chuck one in.
Keep him on his toes, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I fully admit, and I've admitted it to him, that when I did my Jack the Ripper one, right, that I nicked his structure.
Yeah.
I basically took the brief he gave us and rewrote it to fit mine. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it, man. I mean, he nailed the sort of structure. But and it's like having worked in one that didn't have that to begin with. I mean, it did later, but it didn't to begin with, and it just nobody did anything. It's just like, oh, I might do this, I might do that.
Yeah. No, that was fun. I wait for the sequel with bated breath.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that. Yeah, really looking forward to doing that.
Yeah, Crude's coming back one way or the other.
Oh, he is.
Even if it's a Futurama head in a jar.
I liked Greg Cunningham's idea of a beatboxing Turpin. One of the Turpin drones with Croon loaded into it.
Yeah. That'd work.
Yeah, no, I've actually already got ideas to bring him back, whether David likes it or not.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll wait to see what the brief looks like on it.
Yeah.
No, that was a lot of fun.
So
yeah.
That's the thing. I mean, I think we're both fortunate that we've met some really cool people that we've worked with, and we've had, because I mean, we've all, like you spoke in that group as well, we've all sort of helped each other as well where we can. I don't know, speaking for myself, it's been invaluable to me because I learned a fucking lot working with other people.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Writing is a very solitary vice, and you only really know in your own head. So when you start working with somebody else and seeing their thought process, it's kind of like, ooh.
Yeah. No, the more you see, the more I think you become a better writer. That's simply, you can't become a writer without reading. You can't really become a good writer, I think, without writing a lot and writing a lot of different things as well. And I think that's why I don't really particularly see myself as an out-and-out horror writer, because why would you limit yourself to just writing horror when, there are some things I would avoid.
What I feel like at the time. Most of the time it is weird fiction and horror.
Yeah, I say, I think left to my own devices, most things end up being dark fantasy, speculative fiction of some description or another.
Well, that was another reason.
With a twist in the end.
Yeah, well, that's another reason I jumped at doing 0 Hour, because it was out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
But I am a big fan of cyber, like we spoke of the thing at length. But I'm a big fan of the cyberpunk films and the video games, especially the video games. And obviously a lot of the music that I listen to, going all the way back to Mr. Newman, which again, you are a huge fan, so as soon as you told me that, you were instantly in my cool list. It's just like, any fan of Newman is a friend of mine.
But I also like Jean-Michel Jarre as well, so come on, balance it out.
Yeah, balance it out. I like bits.
And Vangelis. I like Vangelis.
I like Vangelis. Yeah, I like Vangelis. I know. I like Vangelis. Yeah. I'm a big fan of synthesizer music. I mean, Depeche Mode are one of my favorite bands. Human League, all that. I love all that. I mean, I've got bloody hundreds of records of that stuff over there. Yeah. So again, that kind of seeps into it because you got the aesthetic and the music videos and
Yeah.
all that. I mean, if you look at some of them 80s videos, some of them are like all like mind-blowingly good, and it makes me wonder why people can't make good music videos anymore.
Is anyone going to watch them?
No, that's a point.
Do people
That's
still
a
watch
point.
videos?
I don't
I
know.
don't know. I'm not. You're
Well, you
asking
do
me.
watch them on the YouTube, I guess. Yeah.
On the YouTube.
Oh,
I just got visions of you going over and turning the channel over there.
yeah. On the YouTube.
Changing the YouTube channel over.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
So, before we start wrapping this up, what are you currently plugging away at the minute, mate?
What am I working on? Well, I mentioned Death Ship earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Like next week.
Well, I'm finishing something. Well, it'll be tomorrow now because I'm not going to be able to do it tonight. And then I'm starting on my one for Death Ship.
Right.
Yeah.
Crabs then.
I might surprise you.
Be seaweed.
Yeah. No, I've done seaweed. Yeah. No.
It's tentacles. Oh, that's blown it. You can tear that one up.
Yeah. Bastard. You bastard. No, I might surprise you and do murderous seahorses now.
Yeah, it'll just be a slasher, you know.
That's a great idea.
Just one of the passengers. Murderous
Yeah.
seahorse. Ooh.
Yeah, you're thinking now. The seahorse with
the most cumbersome animal in the sea.
Yeah. How could we turn the seahorse murderous?
Yeah, can hardly swim.
Yeah. And beat you to death with them flappy little arms.
It could curl that tail thing around you.
Yeah.
Isn't there something about eggs? The males look after the eggs. Or something?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
We're getting off track now.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought we were on another Zoom quiz about nautical themed. What am I working on now? I got a bunch of just like loads of little shorts. You know, all the other ones that
all the
I haven't
other
been able
ones
to
that
work on for a few months. So actually, I'm really looking forward to just ploughing through. So I did 5 or 6 drabbles on zombies the other day.
I've never written anything about zombies. Now you see, I used to love all the zombie movies and all the rest of it, but I've just got, and I love the video games.
Yeah.
But I've got no desire.
No,
Because I just can't think of anything original to do with them.
Well, that's why I was sitting there. Exactly, I was sitting there trying to write 5 drabbles on zombie stuff that isn't just an episode of The Walking Dead or the
George Romero.
Or exactly. It's just like
Fulci. It's like it's all been done, man. What else can you do with a walking corpse? You know.
Actually, I wrote one of my favourite drabbles in there. Hopefully, it makes it in. Mainly because it's just a massive 100-word lead up to a pun.
Nice.
It's just the last word of it is just a pun, and
I've done a flash fiction like that, with like 1,500 words, and it's just a lead up to a pun.
It's a punchline.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to after spending 3 months on one story, pulling my hair out, just to actually just jumping around a whole bunch of little bits and pieces. And then of course there's a whole load of stuff coming out that I can't remember which ones I can talk about and which ones I can't, so I won't talk about them.
I'm the same. Yeah. Yeah.
It calls from this. Well, we can talk about it. It calls from the which one is it? C. That one.
Indeed.
Yeah, there you go. That one in
Yeah. No, I'm really looking forward to that one. Yeah. I mean, it's like I really wanted to get into it anyway because I love working with Michelle in Erie River, and because it was C. And then she unveiled the cover. And it went
rolling up I was going to say you're rolling up your sleeves, but they're already rolled up.
Yeah, cut the fuckers off.
Put the war paint on. I'm going in.
Yeah. Seriously, I'll be wowed, mate. Have it. Yeah, no, I just went like as soon as I saw the tentacles wrapped around the.
Yeah.
Before I saw that,
that is a great cover.
It's a great cover. I mean, like she actually, it was the first time she'd commissioned somebody to
Hmm.
to do a piece of artwork for, because you don't usually, she'd done them all herself before, and they're stunning.
Well, the cover for for Forest 2,
Yeah.
is almost exactly a scene from my story.
Is
It's
it?
just probably everybody in the book can say that, given that they're all Forest based.
Yeah, to be
But
absolutely
for mine,
honest, I mean, I
it
could
absolutely
yeah,
nailed it.
yeah. I mean, I love the cover to the Forest one. I love the cover to Sky as well. It's just so
Yeah.
moody, you know. I've always, that's one
Yeah.
thing I've always really liked about Eerie Rivers books is their covers. So when and I think she did the right thing getting this guy who'd done this, because it's just such a superb piece. It's just artwork, rather than a cover. It's art. I would have a framed picture of that.
Well, there you go.
It could go next to
I'm
my
sure-
big Cthulhu.
I'm sure
over
Michelle's
there.
making notes right now. There we go. Another Redbubble.
Yeah, Redbubble and Etsy. That's something that's exploded right recently, isn't it? It's like
I blame it on
everybody's
that.
doing
I think as soon as Greg put David on a T-shirt, it just exploded after that, as far as I could see. After that, the demand for T-shirts with things on them just went
But
through the
that's
ceiling.
just never going to be topped. It was the fact that I didn't notice and David didn't notice. David didn't twig for ages that there was a T-shirt hanging behind Greg with his face on it, and that Greg was wearing one with his face on it.
They probably thought the one hanging in the background was just the picture-in-picture it shows you, of the little video of
Yeah,
yourself. Wondering why it stalled.
Well, I think it helped that night Greg basically became Max Headroom.
Yes, that was brilliant.
That was hilarious. It was like never
spot on.
has a glitched camera been so.
Yeah, no, best. I think the most spot on launch of a book ever with someone. So I just needed sets of lines behind him.
Did it? Yeah. Oh, I love that. I used to love Max Headroom. Yeah, man.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
So many great ideas in that. I'm surprised it hasn't got a reboot or some description.
Yeah, the thing is though, I'm always really skeptical with a lot of reboots because for me, 9 times out of 10,
been burnt.
they suck. they just suck.
Yeah,
It's,
no, they generally do.
Yeah. Well, at the time, man. I mean, I remember watching it in the 80s and that. It was just like,
Yeah.
I mean, because it was just so beyond what you expected.
Well, I think part of it is
TV
the reason I got into computing was partly because of that, probably. All the computers and that, that was state of the art at the time. Well, beyond state of the art.
Well, the thing is, it's like I had a Commodore 64, and you know how they load with them, them coloured lines. That was like going on behind Max Headroom's head.
Yeah,
it's great, great stuff. Right.
Better
Hewitt.
Yeah.
Absolute pleasure, mate.
All right.
This has been brilliant.
Yeah, we'll have to do another one at some other time and sort out this whole Doctor Who nonsense that you keep going on about.
Yeah. Well,
and I'm not talking about your conspiracy theory either. I'm talking about the best Doctor
I know
ever.
exactly what you're on about.
Yeah,
What we'll do is really up the ante and we'll get Callum involved because he's a massive Whovian as well.
Who's he backing?
I don't know, actually. I'm not entirely sure.
Better ask first, otherwise you could be outnumbered.
I don't know.
It's probably Sylvester McCoy.
I like Sylvester McCoy.
Oi, no, come on.
No, he was awesome.
No. Oh, it killed it off. He killed the entire series.
He was already dead.
Oh, well, yeah, okay.
No, anyway, this is for another time. Yeah. You swine. Right.
Well,
today I have been joined.
Hopefully he's a Pertwee fan, so you can properly balance it out.
Yeah. Actually, that's what we need. We need to find a Pertwee fan, don't we? Just to go between us and balance us out.
Yeah. Because it's clearly that generation. I mean, there's no point going.
Yeah.
Anyway, off topic.
Indeed. I reckon we should do it though. That'd be brilliant. Right. Yes, I have been joined this evening by fellow author and all-round groovy guy, Mr. Chris Hewitt. If you want to check out his stuff, that is at news.blog. Yeah. none of these fancy
Just for
things
me,
tonight.
you could have done the fancy thing, but
Well, it will be underneath after when Callum puts the graphics in. But
oh, don't, Callum, don't. Just leave this.
there's muse.blog.
Some Callum, tentacles round this, please.
There is tentacles on the graphics.
Excellent.
That's what he was
And
first talking
crabs.
about. Can we have tentacles? Yeah, of course you can have tentacles, Tim.
Maybe a couple of crabs, maybe. Just
Scuttling along the bottom of the screen. That'd be cool.
oh,
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. You want to keep up to date with my literary misadventures? It's Tim Mendes start again. timmendeswriter.wordpress.com. That's timmendeswriter.wordpress.com. I also have a newsletter. Sign up, and I will eventually do a newsletter. But if you sign up, you get a free cosmic horror novelette, though you won't be able to find anywhere else. That is tinyurl.com/Tim Mendes newsletter. Chris,
brilliant. It's
awesome.
been fun.
Indeed. It's been hilarious, mate.
Okay.
Gold. Right.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So from me, Tim Mendes, and from Mr. Hewitt, thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time.